Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here as we're coming to you from our Orlando studios, get everything set up here correctly, and also our Dallas studios at DSP Media. Our good friend Tim Ham is with us, IndyCar Tim. Good morning to you, Tim. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, JP. Good morning, Tampa.
Yeah,
St. Pete. I guess we're going to throw St. Pete in there.
Absolutely. Rough night for your Rangers. They finally lost. Holy shiz, man. All it took was Max Scherzer on the mound to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, he's making his return after a shoulder injury. Hadn't pitched at September 12th, I believe, and I didn't have very high expectations. I was going to be happy to see him with, 3 runs through 3 innings, I think, and I think he was responsible for 4 through 3 1/3 or something.
Yeah.
So It is what it is. You thought the bats could come back, and they did a little bit. They came back a little bit, but the bullpen couldn't keep the runs under a manageable amount, and the Astros are now 10-1 in our stadium this season.
How about that? That's crazy, and with such a home field advantage. So
yeah,
that's baseball. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of Rays news today that we'll get to a little bit later on in the show. As predicted, now that a lot of the dollars are coming out into the public realm, a lot of people are having some issues with it, including some of the city council members. So we'll get into that a little bit. And as I've said for many, many weeks now, this is far from a done deal. And the Major League Baseball commissioner and the powers that be have to bless this deal, and they have done everything but. So we'll wait to see how that all goes down. And of course, a couple of groups still bidding to buy this team. Maybe this is just both of those groups do not want to build stadiums in St. Petersburg. These groups, I know that for a fact, that are buying this team. So maybe this is just once again a ploy by Stu Sternberg to get the better price for his team on his way out the door. Either way it happens, if we get new ownership and they turn their attention towards downtown Tampa. And by the way, there's a lot of people talk about the deadline. The bottom line is if it comes right down to it, they can play another year at Tropicana Field. Dare I say that? I mean, it's not like they have to demolish Tropicana Field in 2028. They don't have to. They could just extend the lease for one more year. So there is a deadline, but there's not really a deadline, right? So we'll see how it goes. I don't want to get into that too much in the beginning of this, but we'll talk a little bit more specifically about it later on in the show. Couple guests coming on for you today. Actually, 3 guests we have. We have the great Scott Carter, who will join us at 11 o'clock to talk Florida Gators. Man, what a win for the Gators. I was just reliving that this morning on looking at some of the highlights. And, man, so many big plays in that game. That can really, really be a turning point for the Florida Gators. Graham Mertz, as their quarterback, played tremendously well in their, with the game on the line. They converted 3 4th downs. I mean, and you can finally go on the road and get a win in the SEC. Now they're 5-2, 3-1 in conference. They get a week off before they play a Georgia team that's suddenly without Brock Bowers, getting beat up a little bit and not as good as they were. Now, do I think as 23-point underdogs they're going to beat Georgia? No, but it just puts a whole different spin on the Gator season. So we'll chat with Scott Carter at 11 o'clock. Brian Bradley, the Lightning's first All-Star, will join me at 11:30, and we'll talk about this iteration of the Lightning. I mean, they're off to a 1-2-1 start, 3 straight losses. They got to clean up a lot of stuff. No time to panic. But we'll talk to Brian Bradley and see what he's seeing right now in this early season as we get set for the Bolts in Vancouver tonight here in Amalie Arena. And of course, the Bucs have a huge game with the Falcons, which is where we will begin. Oh, forgot to mention, Scott Fitzgerald will join us at 10:30. You guys know him as the great mortgage guy on the show, but the really reason I want him to come on, he went to the Sphere last week to see U2. This is all the rage. The Sphere.
Dude, have you seen video of this?
Oh
online?
My God, yes. Yeah, he sent me a ton of videos from his. Yeah, he's got some great inside stories about this, and this Sphere thing is taking the entertainment world by storm. I mean, like crazy.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's bananas. I actually talked with someone in the entertainment industry. It's very familiar with a lot of the things that are going on out in Vegas. And, they mostly work with the venues. And, of course, all the folks that do concerts around the world, around the United States, and the venues that they control are very interested to see what's the next thing in technology and in presenting concerts. And it could be the Sphere, or it might not be, because that thing is expensive to build and expensive to run. And the tickets are really, really expensive. So it's good. I'm looking forward to this conversation because I haven't really chatted with Scott since he got back. But
so, JP, I was wondering the success of this thing, if it's going to spawn others, around the world or the country. It's the first in the world of its kind. $2.3 billion was the price tag on this thing. And I think it started out at like $1.2 billion when they started it before COVID.
Right.
And then, supply chain issues and labor issues and all that doubled it up to $2.3 billion was the final price tag for that thing. I don't see a lot of people spending that on an entertainment venue,
And they'll be the first to be able to prove, if there's going to be return on investment, which is going to be tough. I mean, because, once the newness wears off, will people still return for the experience? And is the experience worth that much? There's been different reviews out there. A lot of people like, man, my neck still hurts from looking up the whole time. It's I think you'll hear from Scott. He's like, man, my head's still spinning. Like, I mean, if it's giving people vertigo, I don't think they're going to return, and spend another $5,000 for seats. They're doing movies now in there, and charging $125 to go see a movie inside the Sphere. Look, you go to Vegas. It's like one of those things that, you got to go do right now, right? But will the newness wear off, and will it not be worth the experience when you get in there? I don't know. I plan on going at some point, but we'll hear from Scott. I'm very interested to hear what the experience was like.
Cheapest ticket I'm seeing for the October 27th U2 concert there is $339, and that is nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Which is the setup, as I understand, it's like a half bowl, right?
Yeah.
And then the stage is in front of you. It's really, really, really interesting stuff. So we'll talk to somebody who's actually been there and experienced that. We'll do that at 10:30. So, all right, let's jump right into the Buccaneers as they get set this week for a humongous freaking game against the Falcons. It's this last week is last week. The Lions. That was the more you look at the tape, and I broke it all down the whole game by now, and it's just a lot of missed opportunities. Exactly what we thought. I don't think the Lions are that much better than the Buccaneers. You got to make plays, man. You got to make plays when they're there to be made, and the Bucs just didn't do that. And it was very one-sided in that. When the Lions had opportunities to make the plays down the field, they made the plays. I mean, that Ryan Neal deep ball play, it's just that's just one guy making a play and one guy not. The deep balls that were missed to Trey Palmer, I'm going to put them both one on Baker, one on Palmer. He's not coming out of his break like he should and keep running. So you got to, but these are all things that come together. Mike Evans, and he didn't connect on a bunch of different throws, not just the big drop, but some other instances. What's going on there? Why are they not on the same page? That's stuff that needs to be figured out. And I said this before, when you give your guys 7 days off in a row, instead of having them practice and then take the 4 days that's mandatory, that looked like a team that had not played football in a while and just was sluggish and not sharp. I would think Todd Bowles may want to rethink that issue. I don't know. He said that they were sluggish. They look sluggish, and it's those finer details in the playmaking that you got to wonder, would it have been better if they'd have been out there on the field? You're not going to be hitting. I get that, but skill position stuff, timing is stuff that you can still work on and work on it a lot. And you've got guys that still, you're in year one, you're just months into a season where you got a quarterback working with all new receivers in an all new system. I know the guys need rest during the season. There's no question about that. That is a benefit. But you come out and you lay an egg after your off week, you look like that. It's not great. It's not great. If I were the coaching staff, I would revisit what we're doing there. But that's gone. It's gone. But you look at it to get a feel for what's the rest of the season going to be like. Are the Bucs so talent deficient that they can't hang with these elite teams? I'm not going to go there because you missed those opportunities, and those are game-changing opportunities that were easy plays to make, and you didn't make them. So, but that's part of football. That's part of football. The team that makes the plays wins the game. So the Bucs got to get better at that. Now here come the Falcons, which the Falcons are a very interesting team. I think they're way better than their record or their results because their quarterback sucks. Desmond Ridder has not played well in crunch time. And this is when you talk about quarterbacks in this league and elite quarterbacks, and do you have to have an elite quarterback to win a championship? Obviously it helps, but there have been instances when you don't have to because your roster is so freaking good. And the system that your quarterback running makes him very, very efficient. So there are ways to do it, but it's, at some point, as you know, with Dak Prescott, Tim, you got to make a play. Your quarterback has got to make a play. And you see it time and time again. And when Baker Mayfield was making plays on third down, he's the best third down quarterback in the league still, even after last week. The numbers are so good. You're winning football games. And when you're not, your quarterback's not doing that, you're losing football games and you're losing opportunities. And they gave him 3 opportunities at the end of the game last week, Desmond Ridder, and he just absolutely flopped on all of them. Terrible. So he can't be coming into this game with a lot of confidence. Let's just put it that way.
No, and you wonder what the Falcons are thinking, man. They had ample opportunity even after they drafted him in free agency to make an offer on Lamar Jackson even.
Yeah.
And they showed zero interest in anybody other than Desmond Ridder, to the point they dumped Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And unceremoniously sort of. And, man, they got to be scratching their heads right now. I never saw what I think they saw in him at all at Cincinnati, but it is what it is for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is a great opportunity for the Bucs. And, we talked about the juxtaposition of this game in between 3-3 and 4-2, and basically taking a 2-game lead in the division. It's mandatory. If you're going to do anything this season, this is as big a game as they have played this year, and it's a must win, and it should be a win, right? The Bucs have gotten much better against the run. Kalijah Cansey, man, wow. Ronnie Barber does a film breakdown every week on the Bucs website, and he focused in on Kalijah Cansey for a lot of different reasons because he knows this kid's going to be a baller. He is going to be a baller. He's 6'0", man. I saw him. Shouldn't talk about this stuff, but we saw him in the locker room after the game with a towel on, please. Mm-hmm. But his upper body is just he's built, man. He is strong in his upper body, and his lower trunk is just the dude is built like a brick shit house, and he's 6 foot 285. And he's just so strong, and he gets underneath people. Low man wins in this league, like Rondé was saying. Low man wins. I said the guy that's 5'10", right? And it's so true. And even though you're not 340 pounds, if you're 6 foot and you're getting underneath these guys, on that one sack at the end of the game, Rondé did a little breakdown of it, and you could just see how he looped around, got low, and put his face mask right in the chest of the Lions guard that was waiting for him, and just ran right through him. Just it was almost weird looking because the other player is so much bigger than him, and he just hits him and runs right through him. It's because he plays with this angle and gets low and just knocks the guys off their feet. And that's what it takes in this league. That's what Aaron Donald has made a career out of, with that stature. So it can be an advantage if you know how to use leverage. And this kid certainly knows how to use leverage. So I'm excited to see what he does in the run game, in the pass game this week. He's just going to get better and better and better. So you got a good opportunity this week to shut down the Falcons run game. The Bucs have done a good job of that. And now you're going to force Desmond Ridder to beat you. I'll take those odds every day. Now, defensively, they've got a nice front. They got Onyemata came over from the Saints. They got Grady Jackson. They got Calais Campbell, who's just a mountain of a man. So they've got some players on that defensive side. They're playing pretty good defense. The Bucs got to go out and execute, man. They've got to execute. They've got to hit those plays this week. It's not, they don't need to score 35 points this week to win. 24, 27 is going to get it done. So, you just got to put together a few drives, and you should be able to handle this. You should be able to handle this. It's a game you should win, and you got it. I shouldn't even say should win when you're the Buccaneers. They're still one of those teams that's, any week a team can beat them, and any week they can beat anybody else. So they've got to go out and play the way we know that they can play and continue to get better. Mike, and I've said this many times this year, and it's starting to become a theme for me. The players that are getting paid need to step up and make plays. Simple as that. And that means you, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin is doing that. That means Shaq Barrett needs to step up and play. That means Devin White needs to step up and make some splash plays. We'd like to see that. These are guys that need to step up and play better. Other guys are carrying their weight. They need to play better.
And this could be an opportunity, I think, too, JP, for the Bucs ground game maybe to get on track a little bit.
Yes.
The Falcons are allowing a total of about 290 yards per game on offense. It's about they break it down 190 through the air and about 100 on the ground. The Bucs aren't even averaging 80 yards on offense on the ground a game. So it could be an opportunity if they can find some room there on the offensive line to maybe get the ground game back in order, take a little pressure off of Mayfield in the passing game, and maybe reestablish their ground game a little bit heading into the further part of the schedule.
Yeah, that's just going to be a problem for them this year, and they've got to figure it out, because if you can't run the football in the situations where there's only 6 guys in the box or 5 guys in the box, if you still can't run the football, you're trapped. You're trapped, because then they know you're one-dimensional, and it gets really, really easy. We saw that last year with the Buccaneers. So they've got to figure it out. What changes can they make? Can they go get a running back? There was talk yesterday of Derrick Henry to the Buccaneers. Listen, I'll try anything. A new back sounds good to me, but I'm not giving up the house to get him. Right. I think the Titans won a 3rd-round pick. It's.
I mean, if that's your missing piece, it might be worth it. If you think that's your missing piece, a 3rd-round pick is not a lot to give up to go get it.
Yeah,
I mean, then you got to pay him.
But it's a rental. It's a rental
for sure,
and you got to pay him the rest of the year. So you'd have to restructure some contracts. But you're certainly not signing him to a long-term contract. No way.
Not a 30.
No way. So it's going to be a 1-year rental for a 3rd-round pick. Do you want to do that in a team that's trying to build for the future? I don't know. These 3rd-round picks, Chris Godwin's a 3rd-round pick. We can go on and on, but I could also tell you a lot of crappy 3rd-round picks that didn't even sniff the roster. So it's it's a crapshoot. But right now, when you're in the middle of it, a guy like that, but I also kind of feel like in this offense, is he a good fit?
Yeah,
is he a good fit? Because he's one of those guys that he needs a crease, man. He needs a crease. Once he gets rolling, he's fantastic. But if there's nowhere to run, a big guy like that can't get going. I don't even know if he's going to be a good fit in this offense. So,
right.
Yeah, but with running back, that's, to me, it's a tough thing to project, because it's all about vision. It's all about feel. It's a natural talent to be a great running back. It really, really is. I mean, you got to have the physical attributes, obviously, but I can show you 1,000 guys with the physical attributes, but it's the ones that really have a feel for the game, an instinct for running, the vision, the timing. Those are the great ones, and those are the ones that produce. And he's clearly one of them. So it certainly wouldn't hurt. But I don't know.
Well, of course, the the NFL trade deadline, October 31st here coming up, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm sure in Tampa there's going to be a lot of talk about Mike Evans, about bringing in a running back. And I mean, I know here in Dallas, we've got so many, we've got injuries at linebacker. Obviously Diggs is out. We need a corner. They're talking about wide receiver because apparently Michael Gallup has forgotten how to catch a football.
Yes.
With 10 targets and 3 catches against the Chargers. So I'm sure things are rolling in Tampa too with the issues that you guys are having.
Yeah. And Scott Reynolds of the Pewter Report brought up Rashad Penny the other day. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other guys out there that are kind of buried on depth charts that might be guys that you could go get for less than a 3rd-round pick, and someone you can keep and grow with. I think that's important. I think that's something that the Bucs are looking for. So, I mean, Todd Bowles, you think he wants Derrick Henry? Hell yeah.
Yeah, he'd love to have him.
Jason Light, who's, in charge of not only this year, but the future of the team, this is where their interests, might not converge as much as you would like. So To our commenters on King Henry, 3rd round pick is a starting guard in this league. A little too much to give up. True. It could be a good starting offensive lineman, a rotational defensive lineman who could be above average. You never know. Bucs must find a capable running back. 5 games in, has Rashad done anything really good this year? Nope. He hasn't been impressive as much as I thought. They're just a couple of Jags. Just a guy. That's what they are at this point until they prove us differently.
Yep.
All right, let's listen into Baker Mayfield, Tim, if we have that available. Yesterday's press conference, Baker was very candid about sucking his past game. So always good to hear from Baker. Here's him, the media.
Well, as Antoine Winfield Jr. is playing for you guys, Jesse Bates is a real problem for the Falcons. You've played him before, obviously, in Cincinnati in the Cleveland games. What do you see on tape with this guy? Seems like he's been an instant impact player for the Falcons.
Tremendous player. I think just obviously he's got all the physical tools you want, but he's an extremely smart player. You can tell his leadership too. Just being up close and personal with him multiple times a year, he's a great leader. He gets guys on the same page, and so you can see just that kind of translates on film already. And I think he's a really smart player as well, and just a good person. So he's somebody in the back end that definitely commands their defense.
Baker, you told us on Sunday that you felt like the offense needed to get pissed off, but attitude can only take you so far, right? Action needs to follow that. Just what kind of actions would you like to see from this team in practice on Sundays to get you where you need to be?
Just fundamentally executing. After watching the film, it's never the good games, bad games, never as good as the film, or the film's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad either. So a few of those things. It's a lot of fundamentals and just some, like I mentioned, get pissed off, but it's taking pride in your work, about executing and doing your job each play. And so today we had a good practice, and there wasn't any rah-rah speech. The guys know what we need to get done. That's why, this is a veteran group that everybody just understands what we need to do to get it fixed. And, like I mentioned after the game, I'll get my stuff fixed, and everybody else is doing the same thing. So I'm not worried about it.
How's the hand?
Golden.
How long does it take for you to get over a loss like Sundays? I mean, is it more difficult given that there were so many opportunities that just came up, short the throw to Mike, and Trey, obviously, it could have been big plays.
Yeah, there's the classic 24-hour rule. When you come in on Monday, watch the film, and you want to flush it. It's a little bit hard when you don't have a practice or anything to go out there and really truly flush it. So, it takes about a day. But as soon as you start watching the next week's opponent and film, and obviously, we got a Division I this week, so it's a quicker flush than normal.
Do you guys feel like you're still? I mean, it's still early. You're in a pretty good spot. Looking at the NFC South, like what's the attitude, the mood right now?
We're still hungry. We're still all of our goals are in front of us. It starts with big picture wise. You have to win your division first to get where you want to go, and so we're still in control of our destiny when it comes into that. So got a big one for us, and so we're not hitting the panic button. We know we can play better, and that's the good thing. It's not we're looking around like, oh no, what's the deal? How do we fix this? No, we know what we need to fix, and we have a good group to be able to do that.
I know you have had a good connection with Mike. You had a 200-yard game, and then he got hurt in a game.
Mm-hmm. Last
week we saw what happened when getting open, and he's had some drops. Is it just time on task between the two of you? I know you always want to get everybody involved, right? Chris has done some nice things, but where is he at mentally, just in terms of things?
First thing I'll say, I'm not worried about Mike. When it comes to certain drops, you can go the same way with my stuff. Certain missed throws, not worried about it. We'll get it fixed. The physical stuff, we'll get that corrected. But it's never about hitting the panic button. It's still instilling confidence. The ball's always going to come his way. I'm still going to find ways to get him the ball, and especially Chris, obviously, a tough guy for us. Took a few shots late in the game, and just continuing to give them chances to make plays on the ball. And they're great players for a reason.
Mentioned this team should be scoring a lot more points. Does there have to be more of a threat of a running game for that offense to really kind of open up and click?
Yeah, I think to have a complementary offense, you got to be able to run the ball too, but also in the red zone, we just need to score touchdowns instead of field goals. That's the biggest thing. So I think when it comes down to us being able to put more points on the board, we haven't been as good as we need to in the red zone. That's just plain and simple, and that's every aspect of our offense when we get down there. We've had some good games, but need to have a game where we're 100% in the red zone with touchdowns.
When you look at this Falcons defensive front, it's really been revamped this year. They have Kalashnikov, they had David Onyemata, Brett Dupree on the outside, but they still got Grady Jarrett inside. When you watch them on film, what are your first impressions of the defensive line?
Yeah, they're hard to run the ball on. I'll say that. I mean, Calais is just an absolute monster of a human being. I've played against him quite a bit, and yeah, Onyemata, Grady Jarrett's been a great player for them for a long time, and they give looks that they give you trouble, and they play extremely hard. Good individual players, but playing really well as a unit right now. And Ellis that came over with their DC from New Orleans knows the system, knows how to do some of those packages. So they present some issues of their own with obviously the tremendous players they have.
You talked about how you like working with Dave Canales. He's very upbeat. He's also a first-year offensive coordinator. Can sometimes there be too many ingredients in the soup for you guys? Can you simplify things at times? How do you think it's going with Dave? Because you'll have a great game like you did against New Orleans where everybody's involved, and then maybe not so great the next week.
It just comes down to executing. I think the tip pass, the 2 shots to Trey, I don't think anybody's questioning the play calling because those are good designs that Dave had, and they're just miscues for us on offense. So it's just one of those things. We trust in the system. There's answers for the plays that the defensive coverages that we're getting. And so, no, it's not about that. It's about us executing it and being fundamentally sound, like I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, when it comes down to simplifying it, it's just doing the little things right. You don't need to shorten the list down. You have to have answers for a defense like this that presents a lot of coverages and pressures. That you got to have answers, but at the same time, you just got to execute it. So it's about our work ethic, our mentality during the week to get the game plan down, have it be second nature.
Don't take the whole week off, probably.
Season, being able to flush games better than maybe earlier in your career, and not press the next game to try to make up for some plays that you didn't hit. Do you feel that is
yeah. A little bit. You never want to have a snowball effect, good or bad. Obviously you want to build momentum, but no play, no game is the same. So it's on to the next one mentality. And so, yeah, that comes with a lot more experience, but at the same time, you got to learn from your mistakes instead of, harping negatively on them.
I don't know if you noticed, there was a lot of Lions fans Sunday this week.
There was?
This week, Atlanta probably travels pretty well since they're so close. Does that kind of surprise you, a home stadium that has so many visiting teams, fans coming in?
I'd want to come down to Tampa, too. It's a good spot.
Yeah, there you go. Baker Mayfield it clearly has been told or already knows that's not a winning discussion for a football player. Ask Evan Neal. You never want to go at the fans, even though he may want to say, boy, it would sure be nice to have our fans in the stadium and not there. That goes without saying. But, maybe early Baker, younger Baker may have gone off on that. But
yeah.
See, I think it's a great example of how older Baker's like, yeah, I'd like to come to Tampa too. It's funny because we, as reporters, you got to ask a question. But, the smart players know that there's no good way to answer that question. You're going to have to take shots at the fans, which you never want to do. That's not your place. Let jerks like me and Tim do that. We can handle it.
That's our job.
That's our job, and he's figured that out.
Yeah.
You do, because the players don't like it. Like, if you guys need to know as fans, the players don't like it, and they wish you would stop selling your tickets, and they would like to have all of their fans in their building. So, if you need to know anything from the players, they would like to tell you through me that stop selling your tickets and let's get our fans in the building. Simple as that. But credit to Baker for not taking a bait. Smart guy.
He's growing up a little bit, it looks like.
Yep.
I like immature teenage Baker, but I think grown up Baker's growing on me though out in Tampa. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
Might have to go get me a Baker jersey now.
Note to other football players and other athletes. If you didn't notice what Evan Neal did up in New York, when you start, clapping back at fans who are clapping at you and telling, what do you guys know? You're flipping hamburgers and hot dogs. That is a no-win thing, even though a lot of it may be true. And this is why I say, if I'm an athlete, stay off social media, bro. There's no need for you to be on social media. If you want to go look, first of all, I wouldn't look at it anyway, because anything that negative that goes into your head is going to affect your play. You might as well, why put that crap into your head? And the people that are saying it, 99% of them are morons. So why would you do that? And what inevitably is going to happen, see James Harden, see so many of these NBA players get caught up in this stuff and start clapping back at fans. It's a bad idea. It's a really, really, really bad idea. So stay and Baker said this, I think, right when he got here. He said, I've been off social media for 2 or 3 years now. Smart. No reason to be on. You'll take the bait. You don't need the negativity. You got all the money in the world. You want to hire somebody to build your brand, let them do it. But you don't need to be on there. There's no reason for it for any of you athletes, if I were you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, Scott Fitzgerald is going to join us. Just went to Vegas and went to the Sphere for the U2 concert. So we're going to chat with him and see what that whole experience was like, and probably give us a little mortgage advice as well. So stay tuned for that. If you're in the market for a refi or mortgage, or want to know what's going on in the housing market, which I do, by the way, he will give us a nice update on that as well. But I got to find out what this Sphere is all about. So quick break. We'll be back on the other side. We got Scott Carter coming up with the Florida Gators report. Also, Brian Bradley will join us to talk about the Lightning. And we want to thank our sponsors, the Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, the Golden Diamond Source, EPI, and American Mortgage Services, and the Patio. We will be at the Patio tomorrow night, 5 to 7 o'clock for our Friday night football fun party. So come join us there. Always the best place to watch football anytime, or sports anytime, at the Patio, like tonight for the Saints and the Jaguars. Back in 3. Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group and the Patio. As I mentioned, we'll be at the Patio tomorrow night, 5 to 7 o'clock. Come on down and join us. We're going to have some tickets to give away, all kinds of fun stuff going on there. Happy hour, $4 White Claw seltzers, $4 White Claw vodkas. Great place to watch all the games as well. It's the Patio where everybody hangs out. Come meet your friends at the Patio. All right, let's chat with our good friend, Scott Fitzgerald from American Mortgage Services. Just got back from Vegas. What's up, Fitzy? How you doing, bud?
Hey, JP, what's happening, man? It's been over a week. I'm still jacked up from the trip, but great time. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Now
ready to go back.
Now, jacked up because you have vertigo from the Sphere, or just jacked up because it was Vegas?
Vegas and the Sphere was unbelievable. I mean, it's a bucket list thing. You know, if you get the opportunity, you got to go out there. It's even better than advertised, expecting it and stuff like that. But it's definitely a bucket list item. I mean, years ago, and I had the same feeling afterwards for like a week. I mean, it's just really incredible building. And of course, I think you guys know some of the facts. You know what they spent on this thing. I mean, you heard $2.3 to $3.2 billion. Yeah. And actually interesting, a couple facts. The guy that actually owned it, he designed it on a napkin, and just, you know, kind of, you know, with the sound system and all that, and said, you know, this is what I want. He's a billionaire. It's the same guy that owns Madison Square Gardens. I think he owns the Knicks and the Rangers, a couple sports teams, but he's the one that actually designed it, put it together, and then he was really instrumental in getting U2. That was his main band that he wanted to open up the arena with. But it's just unbelievable. And like you said, you guys can see, you know, look on the internet, you see it's all over the place. YouTube, you can see it lit up, you know, at night, in the mornings. But the dimensions of the thing, it's kind of neat. It's basically 360 feet tall. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, it's about 36-story building. So it's really steep. And as you know, it's kind of a half. The seating's on half of the circle, and then you go down into the stage. And the stage isn't real big. It's kind of a square with a center in the middle. So it's not a huge stage, but the seating is amazing, and just the interior of it is just the digital stuff that they put inside. It just blows you away. I mean, it was, you know, it's just really, really neat what they did with that.
Now, when you say the digital stuff, is that like within your individual seat, or what? Like it has different bells and whistles?
Well,
what?
Yeah, the seating's really plush, the leather seating and stuff. And I'll tell you kind of where my experience of where I was, you know, in the arena and everything. But it's just all the walls interior-wise are all LED. It almost looked like these big squares, kind of like concrete wall or whatever. But it really was just, there's LED lighting throughout the whole, the ceiling, the walls, and everything. So the whole thing can be lit up, you know, besides the floor and the seating. So it's amazing the shows that they could, you know, the lights and stuff, like, and graphics.
Yeah, you're dropping out a little bit here and there, Scotty, unfortunately. So tell me about the show, like U2. Like, how good was the show itself? How good was, like, the quality of the sound and everything?
Section, 100 sections down at the floor level. You get a different view from almost every seat, and there's not a bad seat in the house. The upper seats are pretty steep. I mean, you're looking down, but just you get the full effects of the all the digital stuff. And we were lucky; we got VIP tickets, and we were the first 100 in the facility. There's 18,000, so it's about the size of Amalie Arena from a seating standpoint. And we were able to get in first 100 people. So we got on the floor right in front of the stage. So literally, I'm like right the closest I've ever been to all the concerts I've been to, hundreds of concerts. I'm literally, as a kid growing up as a U2 fan, I'm sitting there stage right in front of Bono. It was unbelievable. And I think you saw some of the videos. I took some videos there, but just absolutely amazing.
Wow, I'm jealous, Mr. VIP, no doubt about it. What was like? Did it feel crowded? Was it hard to get in, or what was the whole experience around it? And like, you know, the concession. I mean, do they even have concession stands, or did they just bring everything to you at your seat? Like, how does that all work?
I was amazed because now we came in at a different entry level, you know, being on the floor level, the stage level. So we came in from different, but overall the flow worked pretty well in there, considering, you know, 18,000 people is a lot of people to kind of get into a facility. But the drinks and stuff were amazing. All the stations they had set up, so it was probably the, you know, figure state of the art building. Like it was designed. The bathrooms where there were just tons of bathrooms as you came in, so you didn't have lack of restrooms and stuff, and there were so many of those. So that was a really good feature. And then there was, you know, stations of bars and concessions for drinks all over the place. So it was just really easy. Now, it was kind of funny. We were joking about the prices, and, you know, you go to any of these things. I go to Raymond James last year for Coldplay or U2, and you're paying an arm and a leg for a drink, and you expect that. You know, that's just kind of what it is. But it was funny. One of my buddies bought some beers, and he looked at me and said, "Man, these things were expensive." So I went and bought the second round. I come back, and mine were even bigger because the lady said, "You want to upgrade for an extra couple of bucks, so we'll get you these bigger ones." So I'm walking back with these jumbo things, and he looked at me, his eyes lit up, and he goes, "What the hell did you pay for those things?" And I said, "Man, I might have to do a cash out refinance when I get back to Tampa to pay for the cost of these beers."
How much were they? How much were they?
To be honest with you, I got to look at my Amex card. I don't know. They were expensive, but I'll tell you, it's darn well worth it. And, you know, the trip worked out really great. But a couple of neat things I'll share with you. You know, we stayed at the Venetian, and that's where I always stay, and I get comps out there and stuff, you know, just from gambling. So they really hooked me up really well out there, and I got my buddy's rooms out there. And it was funny. I was checking them in, and lady at the front desk said, "Would you like to upgrade your suite to a sphere view, a view of the sphere?" And we were like, "That's great." She goes, "Well, that's $80 a night." We were like,
"Oh my God,
I don't know, $80 a night." So there's about 10 hotels around the sphere that have like really good views of
right
of it, so you kind of want to stay into. So when you go out there, you can kind of pick the hotel you want to and figure that out. But luckily, she went ahead and waived it. So she said, "No, I'll go ahead and comp you guys, you know, the views and stuff like that." So that's one thing. A lot of the hotels, and I heard that too, is ironic that we experienced that. So a lot of the hotels are charging more money, you know, to get that view. And it's really neat, man. You know, Vegas, you wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning and stuff, and that thing, it's got different, you know, different scheme on it. And I shared, JP, with you the video. It was on one of the NBC morning shows.
Yeah.
And I heard this too. So there was a lot of things I heard going out there that I actually experienced. I kind of did, you know, it was hard to believe. And they were talking about the fairway, the Win, which is a $700 green fee. There's a fairway that goes up, and we're looking out at the window, kind of seeing these golfers go up the fairway, and they're looking right into the green is the sphere is right behind it. And there's actually an emoji face that's basically taunting the golfers and stuff. You're hitting your shot, your $700 green fee, and you got this sphere that's making faces at you and stuff like you're trying to.
I've seen video of that. It's hysterical.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So that was pretty cool.
Because the sphere is we were out there for the match with Mahomes and Kelsey and all those and Steps, and the sphere had not totally. They were still testing it at that point, so they were just putting some stuff up from time to time. But it's right across the street from the golf course. So yeah, it's right on top of you. And our hotel back then also had like a view of the sphere, and it was going on and off. And even if you have the blind curtains, you know, the dark blacked out ones, it's still coming through the room because it's so bright. So I don't know if you really want the view of the sphere, but it's interesting. I guess that's a revenue maker for the sphere. They must have said, well, we'll build it here. You guys can it's like a waterfront view. You're going to charge more for it on the hotels, and I'm sure that the sphere must get a cut for that as well, which is interesting. So, man, it's unlike anything I've ever heard. I did talk to one of the guys that runs the Raymond James Stadium here, and they're all, interested in the technology and how they can share the technology if it's something that can travel on the road with bands or whatnot. I mean, obviously they're not going to build a sphere, but there's certain things about it. And he was saying that there's almost 3 million speakers. I've heard other different things. He said there's 3 million, and he said
the sound was amazing. You never heard anything like it. The sound.
I heard it's 166,000 speakers is what somebody.
I think it's more than that. So what did it like? What's the difference between what you heard in there and a regular concert at Raymond James?
It was so clear. You could just hear. It was so pure how you can hear the music. Just going to. I saw Post Malone not too long ago at the Amp, and then going to see Coldplay and Raymond James, and then going to Amalie Arena. And hear a lot of concerts and stuff. It just was a crisper sound, just a complete. Just because, like you said, with so many speakers and stuff like that, it was just, it was the most amazing sound inside. And I'll tell you one thing. This was what I was interested because I was wondering if it was solar powered or what the power bill in this place. And I found out that the power bill monthly is $488,000 is what the power bill for the facility. And it might have solar, so that might be solar is probably bringing that cost down. But $488,000 a month, the power bill. And I mean, guys, it's like Disney World for adults. I mean, it's just a pretty neat, facility in there. But and the interesting thing we were all talking about is, and it was neat, when I'm down on the stage and stuff, there were like people speaking all different languages everywhere. So this is a worldwide thing. I mean, there was a guy from France next to me. There was Chinese, all over the place with different accents and stuff like that. And everyone was talking about, obviously the future of it once U2 leaves in December, like who's coming in, and people were throwing out, Coldplay would be great in there, as you saw JP and Raymond James. But they were talking about so future shows down the road, but it's one of those things you got to get out there and get in there, and a lot of people that were around us were actually wanting to do 2 shows, so they wanted to get the view from being down, in front of the stage, but then they also wanted to come back. There were a couple of people coming back a couple of months later, to get up in the 300 level on the just to get that different view and different perspective of the facility, but definitely a great experience and highly recommended. To get out to Vegas, I think it's really helping Vegas's. Whether people go to the venue or not, or just go check it out, walk around it and check out
something new for sure.
How it was built. So
better than just throwing your money away in the casinos, right?
Yeah, man. Or if you win a little bit, it's all good. So. But anyway, back to reality and back to the economy and wars and all the stuff that's going on right now and, the financial world. It was
what's
kind of a nice
on in the
little
market?
escape from.
What's going on in the market right now?
It's an interesting market right now. I'm actually pretty busy. I think a lot of people now have been looking. I've got so many people that have been looking at houses over the last year or two and haven't found the right house. And of course, interest rates have gone up. And they've been discouraged by that. But I think a lot of people are just, they're ready to, whether they want to downsize or get that bigger home. They're like, I'm not going to sit around and wait on the government situation of, presidential elections and the Fed and things that are going to eventually rates are going to get lower, are going to lower. So a lot of people are like, I'm going to find the house I want. I'm going to buy the house. I'm going to refinance it in 12 months, 24 months and lower my payment by a substantial amount. And that's where I'm helping a lot of my clients right now is they're going ahead and, good buddy Alvarez is buying a house on the water over in St. Petersburg. So he's, wasn't fearful of it and the same thing. And what I'm doing with a lot of my clients is, once we close on these, once the refi comes around, I'm doing their refi for no lender closing costs. So basically giving them a free refinance when rates drop, hopefully 2 to 3 points, lower to help these folks out. So, that's kind of the market, and then obviously if you watch this, with the different wars that are coming out and the feds and what's going on in Washington with the political system, it's a mess and everything's really volatile. If you look at your stocks and your 401ks and things like that, the markets are really going up and down. Same thing with the bonds. So we're kind of there's just so much out there that's really fluctuating. So it's kind of a little stressful market for most people right now, trying to survive and pay their bills and make a living.
Hey, Scott Fitzgerald joining us here from American Mortgage Services. Do you think it would be smart if you have some money in the market to pull it out and buy real estate? For cash, then you don't have to worry about the It obviously doesn't help you because you're not doing a mortgage, but I know you help people anyway, or do, a heavy down payment and half a mortgage. If you don't want it, but if you can refi when the numbers come down, that's certainly going to help you. And you're offering the free refi. But is it smart to maybe put your money in real estate and take it out of the market right now? Because we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, people are looking into that. I kind of, every case is different. So every client got to sit down with. Some people it makes sense to. I mean, you could go and purchase a property. There's, you could buy a quadplex or duplex. You could buy multifamily properties now with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Conventional financing are allowing people with 5% down to go buy literally $1 million quadplex.
Wow.
That they could live in one and rent the other three out. So I've got clients. I've actually got a client right now, long-time client that's actually buying a vacation rental down in Anna Maria Island right now. And it's all different for every client I sit down with. It's, some people, it's 5, 10, 15, 20% down. Some people are ready to go ahead and put a big chunk down on the mortgage. So
right.
It's case by case, it depends on the person's finances and stuff like that. Some people, it makes sense to pay cash. Some people, it makes sense to leverage a little bit, leverage the bank's money. And then, obviously once rates do come back down, rates are in the 7s now, pushing 8%,
wow.
fluctuating back and forth. And a lot of the experts that we've been following for over 20 years right now, with all the figures and graphs and stuff like that, they think rates, once they start to stabilize, the Fed start decreasing the federal funds rate, and inflation starts coming down, a lot of the experts think rates will be back down in the mid 4s to high 4s. So that's a huge, you can get, refinance and lower your payment by 2 to 3%.
So now people will say, but I don't want to do it, but doesn't it take like 2 or 3 years to basically make the money back in the fees and everything? But you're saying, no, you come back and I'll give you a free refi. So you don't have to worry about that. When the rates come down, we'll get you straight.
Yeah, and the same thing with the title companies. They give you reissue credits when you refinance. So they'll give you reissue credits, and a lot of times we're able to get automated, not even have to do an appraisal the majority of the time and not have to pay for appraisal. And then what we do for my clients is I'm a wholesale broker, so we got a lot of leverage with, I could shop 30 different banks and stuff, and or use the same lender, the same bank that we did the loan with, go back to them and say, hey, this person could go to another bank. Do you want to keep it in-house? And a lot of times they'll waive a lot of the fees and just do an internal, basically interest rate reduction loan is what they can do on it to save the client.
There you go.
So it's out there, but yeah.
This is what I tell people all the time: is call you and and find out what's out there. I think everybody has preconceived notions that, I get a mortgage, I'm set for 30 years, I can't move the interest rate. That's not true. There's a lot of ways to wheel and deal. You're in the business, what all these new programs are. So, and it's just like, we talk about with our good friend Chris Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Everything is individual, right? Everybody's finances are different.
Exactly.
Everybody's situation is different. So I don't want to sit here and say, this is what you should be doing. Everybody's different. And you will look at their finances as a whole and say, okay, you should take a chunk of this money out of the market, put it into some real estate here. You can hold it there. Maybe, put a mortgage here, put a mortgage there, and then we can refi it. So all these different things come into play. You're the expert. You can look at it and give them a game plan, and you'll do it for free, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes people come to me, we sit down, we look at the full picture of everything, and I would pay cash for it. And they're like, well, what do you get out of that? I said, well, nothing, but that's, in my job, I'm a professional, and, my recommendations and stuff like that, I'm not looking to, put you into a mortgage if you don't need one for that instance, or otherwise I've got some people that really need to leverage. They got 3% to put down, 1% to put down. So those aspects, even if they're military, we could put them in a VA loan with 0% down. So they can get in that house with the least amount of money down and quit paying rent.
Yeah.
And put that money into equity. Yeah, exactly. So
number one thing. All right, Scotty. As I tell everybody, just reach you, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. Get that free consultation. And if you're thinking about doing real estate, you're just thinking about the market shaky. Should I take some money out of the market and invest? And you've got agents to work with as well that will find properties. So it's a one-stop shop with my man, Scotty Fitzgerald. And you can trust him. In this day and age, that's what you need more than anything, is somebody you can trust. So appreciate you, Scotty. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Great show.
Appreciate it. Thanks, bud. Scott Fitzgerald right there. heading out to Tallahassee to watch the Seminoles beat up on Duke this weekend. I think I saw that line is like 18 points or 16 points. I'm like, holy hell. Duke's a good football team. Even without Riley Leonard, they can play. And Riley Leonard may play. I'm not sure what his status is at this point, but we'll get into that a little bit tomorrow. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Gator football with Scott Carter coming off that big win at South Carolina. What a miracle comeback for the Gators. Their first 10-point comeback, I think, in 4 or 5 years. So we'll talk with Scott Carter. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, who brings you the Gator Report. If you have any legal issues whatsoever, Scott Jeeves is the man. He will fight viciously for your rights. The insurance companies do not like to see the Jeeves Law Group coming. So have them represent you in all matters. If you've been in an accident, you've had your car totaled, you have an insurance claim from the hurricane, they can handle it all. It's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves Law Group, class action suits as well. So tell them JP sent you, call them up, and they will give you a free consultation. Back in 3 with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Stay with us. Old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9 Jeeves. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
You're on mute, JP.
There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Good back. Welcome back to the show on this beautiful Thursday. We get set for a little hockey tonight in the Bay Area. Heading over to Amalie Arena for tonight's festivities against the Vancouver Canucks as the Lightning try and break a 3-game losing streak. That'll be interesting. We'll talk to Brian Bradley at 11:30 to preview that game. The Gators have the week off, so they get to celebrate a big win over South Carolina. It's our Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. Scott Carter joins us here from the beautiful confines of the University of Florida. Is that office right there at the stadium? Is that where you're at?
It is. It's an office in the stadium. It used to be an old dorm on the west side of the stadium. So if you walk down the hallway, it's all these individual offices. But it's been around a while, JP.
I remember that dorm.
Yeah.
I remember that dorm back in the day. Yeah.
I don't know when they turn them into offices. But since I've been here, they did. So
yeah. It's they have, and that's one of the things they've done with all these stadiums now in FSU in order to get the wraparound brick to make it look like a stadium and not an erector set. Like the erector set is still underneath, by the way.
Yeah.
But now it has this beautiful brick around it, and they have the film school in there and all these other offices. And now they're putting another $200 million into their stadium. For more premium seating. They're taking regular seats out, putting more premium seating in, which is the same thing they did at Florida, right?
Well, it's going to be there. I mean, the talks are still there. They've got a architectural firm who I think is about to put together the final plan. So I don't know what exactly it's going to look like, but yeah, it is. I know the biggest concern is still maintaining as many seats as you possibly can.
Yeah.
While upgrading it to, some more premium levels. But they did it back in 2003 or 4 when they built the new skyboxes and stuff.
Yeah.
It hasn't really had any major renovations since then.
Yeah, and also I think one of the big problems at the Swamp is they don't have a lot of point of sale, right? There's these older stadiums, they don't have the big loge areas, the big areas behind the stadium where they can do different concession stands and stuff like that, and they're going to build that all out, right?
Yeah, that's the plan, I think, and it will look different, I'm sure, but they've got to maintain that just unique vibe inside the building. Yeah, because it does offer something that few stadiums can. So
it's suffocating. Suffocating. So the fans are right on top of it.
You guys have been here. I mean, so it's a unique place, man.
Yeah, it's interesting where these stadiums are going now because at Florida State, anyway, they're not as worried about the number of seats. They want to put in more premium. In fact, they're going to lower the number of seats to put in more premium boxes. So I think they get more revenue from that. People, I think as the fan base gets older, I think they're like they want a little bit more air conditioning. Less with the huddled masses. It's funny, if I go to a pro game, I want to be in a suite, right? If I go to a college game, I don't mind being with the riffraff, Yeah. I don't know. It's
kind of the same different way. And, it's one of the few open press boxes that remain up here. So
I know. I love that.
You feel that crowd. When you're at a Bucs game or most NFL stadiums, it's just closed off, so you don't feel that vibe. So
yeah. And that's interesting because I think it's part of the, if you're going to write a story about a game, you need to feel the environment. You need to feel that around you. Yeah. And you don't get that when you're in the Bucs press box. You don't.
It's just kind of a sterile environment. That's not, and it's really most, I think, NFL stadiums.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Way. But it's like that in college stadiums too. But that's one thing that definitely here is different. And I hope that whatever changes come is after it's all said and done. That it still has that unique atmosphere.
That collegiate atmosphere, yeah. All right, well, let's talk about another great collegiate atmosphere in South Carolina. Williams-Brice Stadium is one of the great, the great venues in college sports. It can be suffocating when South Carolina's good, which is not often. It's even when they're not good, they fill that joint, right? So what was that like there for the Gators to go in and get a road win down 10 in the fourth quarter boy, they some amazing fourth down plays that went their way that Graham Mertz made. What an impressive performance by the Gators.
Yeah, JP, I mean, I'm not going to lie, man. I was up in the press box getting ready to go down to the field, and they were down by, 10, and they scored the first drive while I was on the way down. And by the time I got down there, they were on the winning drive. But it was a game that felt like wasn't going to be their day.
Right.
You're right. Graham Mertz made some big plays. They got a great fortunate play when he threw the ball that tipped off Ricky Pearsall and bounced directly to Eugene Wilson, kept that drive alive. And then, of course, Mertz hits Pearsall for the game-winning touchdown with 47 seconds left. And Florida hasn't had one of those wins in a while. And, boy, it came at a great time because, they've got a bye now this week. They've got number 1 Georgia coming up, and you're going into that game suddenly with a renewed optimism, with a boost of confidence. And, again, I just think the bigger storyline going into the trip to South Carolina was this is a Florida team that hasn't been able to win on the road much lately. They had lost 13 of their last 14 away from the Swamp. And obviously everyone remembered the last time they were away when they went up to Kentucky and they got beat up pretty badly. So just no matter how you dice this one up, it was a good day for the Gators. And it was an important win, I think, for Billy Napier, just where he is in his coaching trajectory at Florida. I don't know what it will mean for the rest of the season, but 5-2 going into Georgia, 3-1 in the SEC is a lot easier to live with than 4-3 and 3-0-3 on the road going into that game. So a lot of momentum swing, and now we'll just see. Graham Mertz, you mentioned him. I mean, he's been a huge difference maker, JP. He really has. I look at a quarterback like him, especially in the college game. Your quarterback, you don't always want to have to rely on him to win the game, but if you have one who never does anything to lose the game, it's such a bonus. And I think we're seeing that certainly consistently from him, but we're also seeing him make some plays. So good start in his Florida career so far.
Go ahead, Tim.
What's the mood like, Scott, there with the Gators headed into Georgia, just off the big win like we talked about with South Carolina, going into the number 1 team against the country, huge rivalry game, obviously, and you got to have a little boost of confidence after the last second win over South Carolina, and then Georgia's a little bit down. I mean, you hate to use the word down this year. They don't look as commanding as they have been in previous seasons when they've won titles. They kind of look a little bit like somebody could sneak up and get them. Why not Florida?
Yeah, I think that's the attitude they're going to take over to Jacksonville a week from this weekend. I think it's what they have to. And, obviously the news this week that Brock Bowers of Georgia is probably not going to play in that game after surgery. Well, definitely won't play. I mean, you hate to see that, but the guy killed the Gators last year, 5 catches, 154 yards. And then again, I'm like you. I look at Georgia. They're still number 1, and until somebody beats them, they're going to stay number 1. So you got to respect that. But I don't think this team is as imposing as the last 2 national championship teams. And then you catch a team like Florida, which, let's face it, this is one of those years. It's kind of a rebuild year. What are we going to see from Florida at the end of the season? Where's the record going to be? Well, I tell you what, you go over and you win Georgia, suddenly it could change a lot. And, I thought Billy Napier on his conference call yesterday with reporters, he was asked about just what's the mindset this week. And he said, look, this is a big quality control week for us. We know that we have a lot to work on. We're feeling good coming off the win, but there's still a lot of areas of improvement. But one thing he said that caught my attention at the end, we've got to think big. And what that meant to me is don't go over to Georgia in Jacksonville to play Georgia and think just hanging with them. Go over there and try to beat them. So I liked what he said there, and I think that's what they have to have, because if you do get that upset, then suddenly Florida is guess what, guys? They would be in first place in the SEC.
That's right. Yeah, and with a chance to get to the SEC championship game with 2 losses, can you get in the playoff? This year might be a chance to do it. Depending. Well, listen, if Florida does that, that means they're going to beat Florida State, who's probably going to be ranked 2nd or 3rd when they get to Gainesville, and then you go in and win the. I mean, anything's in play. I'm not saying the Gators can do that. This is an awful young team, but what I saw from Graham Mertz, a quarterback who's cool in the clutch can make up for a lot of bad defense, as we saw at South Carolina. And the Gator pass defense has not been that bad, but Spencer Rattler had a great day, 4 touchdowns. He was really, really good. So quarterbacks make a difference is my point. And Graham Mertz was fantastic. That 4th and 10 play to Bricky Pearsall, he gets a blitz coming off the edge and up the middle, somehow escapes and finds Pearsall, who wasn't open, but throws it to the inside where he can make a move and come back and get the ball. Holy crap. And then he had 3 4th down plays that he made. The Gators made on those two drives. That's impressive stuff. That's really, really impressive stuff. And I think back to after the UConn game, the Gator fans were killing him. And I mean, killing him. And I'm like, hold on now. He wasn't that bad. The 1 interception wasn't even on him as far as I'm concerned. And I'm like, let's give the guy a little bit of a chance. And I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any Gator fans complaining about Graham Mertz right now. Not after that performance.
Yeah, they've certainly warmed up to him, and that's the nature of playing that position.
Yeah.
But if you look at what he's done, I mean, even the Utah game, I mean, the guy threw for career high yards in that game.
Yeah.
His first game at Florida.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't anything to do with him specifically that cost him that game. But I think we've just seen him get more comfortable in the role. I think he came in with, already 32 career starts. So you knew playing in road games like at South Carolina or Kentucky, they weren't going to, throw him off his game. And I just think what's happened, guys, is he's finding better rhythm with his receivers. Certainly Pearsall, I think, is a go-to guy. I think Eugene Wilson has emerged as a really dangerous threat in the offense. The offensive line has been up and down, but I think they have started to find some continuity there, and they're getting better in their protection. And Mertz, one thing I've noticed about him, as you guys probably have too, the guy's tough. He can take a hit, and he goes out there and just keeps playing. And you do that enough, you get respect of your teammates, and now suddenly they're playing harder. They're really wanting to do it. I'm hearing more of that from his teammates. They believe in the guy more and more after a performance like at South Carolina, and I think that bodes well for the Gators. Down the second half of the season here. We'll see how it turns out, but Graham Mertz is having a fine season, guys.
And that receiving core is really stepping up as well with Pearsall. I know they put him on the Blitnikoff watch list this week. It's about freaking time. What do you have, 9 for 166? And just a big play machine. And old Analyst, the tight end, is he making plays. One-handed catches, 4th down catches. He looks like a phenomenal player as well. And these are guys that maybe Pearsall, of course, we knew from last year, but this is what you wanted to see this year. Guys emerging, making big plays, young guys when their number's called, right?
Yeah, I think that's the most important element that's going into what Florida's done through 7 games is they're getting so many of these young guys experience, and not just getting them reps, they're getting them experience in key moments. Arliss Boardingham, the tight end you mentioned, he's got 3 touchdown receptions over the last 2 games. Eugene Wilson's healthy again, making plays. That's the guy that I think most fans are excited about on offense of the newcomers. I really like the freshman running back behind Johnson and Etienne. His name is Trayon Webb. He's fit in nicely. Andy Jean's another receiver who's playing well. So they've got some playmakers, young playmakers, and it goes over on defense too, especially in the secondary with Jordan Costello, Miguel Mitchell, and Shamar James, and all these guys are young. That's what you need at this stage of Florida's development. And again, I think what they do here in the next 5 regular season games, guys, is going to determine is their rebuild ahead of schedule or not. We'll know over the next 5 weeks. But I think right now it's on schedule and shouldn't be too alarming. Whatever happens, as long as they're competitive and play pretty well, and these young guys continue to shine in some moments, I think they're really probably where Billy Napier expects, and probably where most fans should expect. We all know fans have higher expectations, but you got to look at the reality of it. These guys are young. We'll see. I still stuck to my 7 or 8 wins. I thought that was going to be a good season all along. I haven't really changed off of that. Now, if they go over and beat Georgia, I start looking at them a little differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's such a huge game for them. And I think also, especially after what happened at Kentucky, it's been a little up and down. This is obviously Georgia's a ridiculously physical team on both sides of the ball. And it matters if you're young in the trenches, right? It matters because, 18-year-olds going up against 22-year-olds is not really a fair fight in some places. So
Yeah.
I haven't, all I know is that Georgia's always good on both sides of the football. And after, that offensive line of Kentucky got after Florida pretty good. Do you worry about the defense in this game, especially after what happened at South Carolina?
The defense, believe it or not, it's allowing 117 yards less per game at this point than last year.
Wow.
But it's still giving up enough chunks. But last week against South Carolina, they were playing a veteran quarterback, a fifth-year guy. You got to remember in 2019 when Spencer Rattler came out, he was the number one rated quarterback in the country. Graham Mertz was number 7.
Yeah.
So those guys have both been around for a while, and they certainly moved the ball. But again, I think Florida, when they had to, they made the play.
Yep.
So I like the fact I like the defense through their progress. They still need some bulk up front. I think you hit it on the head a second ago, JP. I think when you look at Florida, where they are realistically, I think for them to take that next step, it's going to happen in the trenches on both sides. They need a couple more pieces on both sides because, again, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, those schools, they've got just a bag load of those guys. If you get hurt or lose a guy, you've got another veteran guy coming in who weighs 330 pounds. Florida has some of those guys in their first rotation, but they've had some injuries, so you drop down a notch after that. So I think they've just got to continue recruiting there and getting some of those big playmakers up front. But if they stay healthy and they can win with what they have, but they have to be on top of their game.
All right, Scotty, big game against Georgia. Some other things are getting started. I know basketball is getting started in Florida as well. Any other things happening that Gator fans need to know about on the horizon here? Recruiting as well?
Yeah, recruiting's hot. But right now, I think, the win against South Carolina did change the tone around campus.
Yeah.
And, that's good, especially going into a bye week. It adds a twist to this Georgia game that, they last won that game in 2020. Georgia, of course, hasn't lost to much of anybody since 2020.
Yeah.
So it gives them a chance to really make a statement. There are games, we use that term statement games a lot, right, guys?
Yep.
This would truly be a statement win for the Gators.
For Napier,
they can pull it off. So we'll see. They're going to be heavy underdogs. We know that, but
23 points?
Is that how big it is? I didn't know it was that big.
Somebody told me that the other. I haven't checked that, but that seems like
I was
lot
thinking
for this
probably
Georgia team.
2 touchdowns. I wasn't thinking 23, but we'll see. But I think mentally they're in a good spot.
All right. It'll be fun. All right, Scotty, great stuff. You can find him at Gator Scott on Twitter or the X Machine, and FloridaGators.com is where all their great content is. You got podcasts, all types of videos, and, of course, all your writings as well. Good stuff. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There he goes.
Boy, I tell you what, man. Can you imagine if the Gators were to beat Georgia? I mean,
I would love it.
I mean, we're talking about after the Kentucky loss, people are like, get rid of Napier. I'm like, hold on now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Premature.
Give the dude a chance. Yeah. I mean, it's fans. I get it. College football fans, especially. And it's tough. I mean, it's been tough for Gator fans. It's when you're in a down cycle, that's bad enough. When you're in a down cycle and your chief rivals winning back-to-back national championships, it sucks. It sucks, so I get it for Gator fans. So this is a huge win, and not just because you win on the road and you haven't done that at all, hardly at all in Napier or, in the last 3 years. I think that's just their third road win.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and guys making plays, it's a big deal. Anything can happen on any given Saturday, and you're in a neutral site, and, they're without Brock Bowers for the first time in forever, right? He's I don't think he's playing this game. I think he's out like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So
he's out.
And they've been so reliant on him. So that first game back, when you're looking for that security blanket, those 8 to 10 explosive touches a game, you don't have that. Where are you going? I mean, they got playmakers, but you got to find them. And you don't know who they are yet.
Right.
That are going to step up. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll take the 23. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up to see what it was here on the books. I can't even freaking find the game now. I do have a message for Florida fans, though, for Gators fans.
What's that?
If you think it's uncomfortable now with your rival going through what you're going through with Georgia and you guys being just a bit down, although you seem like you're on your way up, just try being an Aggies fan for a day. All right. Let me throw that at you. It's not so bad out there in Gatorland.
What's going on? I mean, you got Jimbo Fisher. You're going to win the national championships, 3, 4, 5, 6 while he's there. Let's give him a 10-year guaranteed contract and then an extension. Well, it's not going so well.
JP, it's getting so bad out here. And I've told you on this show before, I was the biggest Jimbo supporter. I was when we brought him over. I was so thankful. We finally getting somebody with some skins. Of course, I had no idea because I'm so far detached from what was going on with him in Florida State.
Yeah.
The fans and everybody in Tallahassee. And I was here, but man, after last year, I was done with him. Yeah. And you know what? Pay the damn $77 million buyout. It's worth it. Start over. I don't know who we would go get. I've written a few pieces over on allaggies.com, the SI site for the Aggies, about who we could possibly replace him with. I'm hearing Urban Meyer. I don't know that I want him, and I don't know how feasible that is, but I don't know that I want him either. I don't. That's
Urban,
my problem. People ask me, who would you rather have? I'm like, I don't know.
Urban, his day is gone, man. He's lost it. He's lost it. I can't even watch him on television, man. I can't.
It's so bad.
I can't even believe they put him up there, to be quite honest. Given his history, I mean, like, he's got no credibility in my mind, none whatsoever.
Unless you're a Florida or Buckeyes guy, right? Like
Florida fans. Here's the thing: when the team you won 2 national championships for, their fan base hates you, like FSU. FSU, you won't find any Jimbo Fisher fan. He ain't coming back to Florida State for any honorable, national championship moments.
Reunions?
No, there's not. That ain't happening. Normally you win a national championship, you're a deity. You are set for life, right? In that town, you will never buy another beer the rest of your life. Jimbo Fisher couldn't even get in Tallahassee, and I don't think Urban would be welcome back in Gainesville at all, despite the whitewash documentary that was on Netflix that he produced.
And that's
so when that's the case, that's a bad dude. That's a bad dude. He's pissed off a lot of people, burned a lot of bridges.
I can't stand him.
Yeah.
My hatred for Urban Meyer goes as far as my hatred for Lou Holtz.
Yeah. Oh, man. Lou's great,
another
right?
character.
Lou Holtz. I love Lou Holtz.
Yeah, he coached Notre
By the way,
Dame,
the guy who was just out on the show, Scott Fitzgerald, that's his father-in-law.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Lou's the best.
He is now. I didn't like him when he was at Notre Dame.
This is Lou Holtz.
This is Lou Holtz.
This is Lou Holtz. He's the best. I can tell you, those Notre Dame fighting Irish, they play like a champion on everything. And when the bumblebee comes like you're bumping on his ass, that's when you got to be in retention. You're going to play football. Play football. Love Lou Holtz.
I just hate Notre Dame, man. I hate and anybody that coached for Notre Dame.
Oh, that's Notre Dame. That's Notre Dame. Everybody hates Notre Dame. But, you can't hate Lou Holtz. My God.
Not anymore. Man, I did back.
If you ever get a chance, by the way, he's starting to break down now in his 80s. But man, I saw him 2 years ago do a motivation. It was like just a sit down with Lou Holtz, a motivational speech and whatnot. And man, he was one of the great talkers, one of the great, banquet talkers you'll ever see in your life, like Bobby Bowden-esque.
Yeah,
it's just like fantastic. Those guys in their prime, man, they could hold a banquet in the palm of their hands. Just great deliveries, great stories, great everything. Just some of the best of the game. These are, when I think back on my career, those are the things that really, really are highlights for me.
Sure. Is
being able to meet some of these characters and men, and to some degree befriend them. That's a cool thing. It's because these are exceptional people, that left a mark on this planet during their lives. Not many of us can say that.
Yeah.
And they're, it's a blessing.
And you get to see a side of them in most cases that the general public doesn't see, and a side of them that nobody knows unless you met them personally, that you don't see on TV.
Yeah. And which a lot of guys that are celebrities, that's a bad thing. That's a very
for sure.
They say don't meet your heroes, right? And I have a few of those stories as well, Bob Greasy.
No, I got to hear that one day.
Oh, what an asshole that guy!
No way.
Pete Rose. Oh my God.
Oh no, I've met Pete. Yeah, no, it's
what a reprehensible human being. I mean, Yeah.
I feel like he's going to charge me $30 just to have a conversation with him.
I feel like I got to shower delouse after because he was shaking, being in the same room as that guy. You're going to need an STD test. I mean,
deplorable.
Just really bad. But whatever, c'est la vie. C'est la vie.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to get to a couple other things besides Pete Rose and STDs.
I should have called the episode that.
Right, and,
Pete Rose and STDs.
Maybe we'll do a special in Evergreen one day.
Yeah.
Assholes in sports. That actually would be a great show. I mean, I could fill a show with stories about a-holes in sports.
It'd go great on YouTube.
1,000%. We could do that. I could bring some guests on. Just reporters. Let's bare our souls. Let's bare our souls. Some of the Bobby Knight. I had a couple of run-ins with Bobby Knight. What an ass.
Oh my gosh.
And some of these guys, these old icons, these coaches, they got away with murder, probably literally.
Probably literally. Yeah, you're right. In some cases.
Yeah. I mean, they're deities and they're iconic and I get all that. But boy, I tell you what, you definitely put Bobby Knight in that category. That drunken son of a bitch was, oh my God. But then you'll have guys that will just be like, oh my God, he was my greatest mentor of all time. He was the best, blah, 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 blah. Joe Paterno's one of those guys. Sure. Joe Paterno's one of these. He's got defenders up and down, but there's a lot of people that probably wouldn't swear by Joe Paterno. So
let him be your professional mentor, not your personal mentor.
Yeah.
That's how I would put that.
Lonnie Wilkins says, I think we came up with something there. Assholes in sports, I'd subscribe to. My God, that would be great.
That's a done deal, man.
I think we got a show. We got a show in every
JP spinoff.
Welcome back to Assholes in Sports, hosted by me.
Yep.
There's a few people that would put me on that list too. Absolutely. Stu Sternberg at the top of the list.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You'd be his first guest.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk to Brian Bradley next. And then after we're done with Brian, I got some stuff on the race that I'm sure Stu will love to hear.
Great.
Just trying to protect the people. That's all we're doing here. All right. We'll take a quick break and come back on the other side. Our thanks to the folks at the Chiefs Live Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and the patio. We will be at the patio tomorrow night. Peter Blake and myself from 5 to 7 o'clock. We'll have some giveaways for you. Of course, we've got happy hour. Start your happy hour Friday right there underneath the palm trees. The weather's going to be great. So the great outdoor space that is the patio. Come join us. Watch some football there, Friday night football, and then football all weekend long. Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Thursday night tonight. You're going to see the Jags and Saints. Great place to hang out. It's the patio, 421 South McDill. Come join all the folks, great staff out there and great prices, not some snobby bar. Got some great chicken wings as well, great food at the patio. Come join us, 421 South McDill. We'll be out there tomorrow night, 5 to 7 o'clock. All right, back in 3 with Brian Bradley. Stay with us.
Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golded Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't. So check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Got yourself muted, JP.
Did that again. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Moron. I should just let you handle that, right? Yeah.
I mean, I can do it. Yeah, I can mute you on my end.
Well, there's shenanigans going on here in the break.
I see that
at the studio here. See that yellow lab in the background making all kinds of noise.
Yeah. Yep. I see that.
She ain't making much noise right now, though. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Brian Bradley, Lightning's first All-Star and leading scorer for many years. What's up, Brads? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, JP? How are you doing, buddy?
Man, I am ready to get back to Amalie Arena and get some home cooking tonight. And I think I know a few players that are too. That was a rough roadie, my friend, but not totally unexpected. Without Vasilevsky, a lot of new players working into the lineup, tougher division. What did we learn about this team on the road trip? Anything good?
Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, it was a tough road trip. I mean, when you look at the numbers, I mean, Stamkos goes down. He had 2 goals and assists against Detroit. I just don't think we're playing as a team right now. Like, overall, everybody's playing together. I mean, we got to step it up. Obviously, Kucherov and Point. I mean, they got to be better tonight. There's no question about your star players have to score some goals and contribute. But the other teams that, once again, are watching those guys without Stamkos in the lineup. So, it's going to be interesting, and I can't blame the goalies. Johansson, he's played well. Tompkins came in and played good. I mean, I thought against Detroit, there was maybe at least 1 or 2 goals I thought were just okay, probably could have had. But I thought the rest of the trip against Ottawa, against Buffalo, I thought goaltending was good. I mean, there's, nothing wrong with that. The overtime goal hit the post to win it. It was kind of a good shot. But, I mean, we got to get back on track now. We got, 5 home games in a row?
Yep.
Tonight, Vancouver, Toronto, Carolina, San Jose, and then we ended up at the homestand against Seattle a week Monday. So boys are in town for a few days, and we got to get on track. And, it all starts tonight against a pesky Vancouver Canuck team that's coached by Rick Tocchet. He used to be here in Tampa. So, I mean, they're 2-1. They beat Edmonton on a home and away to start, but then they lost the other night to Philadelphia 2-1, or 2-0. So they're going to be ready to go, tonight because they lost first of a road trip. So I'm expecting them to come back pretty strong, Vancouver, tonight.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what the Lightning has done well, and I'll put Brandon Hagel in that category. A couple goals the other night.
Yeah.
One with 7 seconds left to get that much-needed point for the road trip. What are you seeing from his game that you like?
Well, he's just picked up from last year. You know what I mean? Brendan Hagel's a good player, super smart. He's got good game. I mean, we picked him up from Chicago. I like the pickup with Julian. They signed him to a good deal, but he's an NHL player now. He's only 25 or 6 years old, and like I said, he had a good game. Good penalty shot goal the first game, and he's played really well. Just the same as Nick Paul. I really like the way he's played on the power play. I mean, we just get some of our star players to kind of pick up. Like I think Kucherov's been so-so, Point's been so-so. Stamkos had 2 goals and assists before he went into the game with an injury. I think Stamkos is playing tonight. I heard maybe he wouldn't be back Saturday, but I mean, I watched him morning skate. Stammer was on the ice. He looked really good tonight.
Oh, yeah. I was just reading on the website. They said he was out for tonight, but that's old news, man. Because my man Brian Bradley's at the skate.
Well, you know what? All I know is he was at the morning skate today, and he looked really good.
Well, listen.
Oh, you know what?
That's old news. They probably wrote that 3 days ago, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm just looking at what I saw on the ice for the morning skate.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Stamkos looked to me, he looked really good. So I would be surprised if he's not in. So maybe it's just lingering. But like I said, we're playing a Vancouver team. Brock Bester's got a few goals. JT Miller's always dangerous player who we had here before. So you know what? It's going to be a really good Peterson, the Swedish guy, excellent centerman. So we got our hands cut out tonight for us. It's going to be a good game. And then obviously Saturday we play Toronto. We all know about Toronto. We hate Toronto. I can tell you that. The Leafs come to town, and Amity's going to be packed with Toronto Maple Leaf fans coming into town.
Well, I hope not, because we owe them a little bit of something for that 3 overtime losses in one play. That was, I think I get PTSD from going back and watching that whole series. I thought the Lightning was the better team, and you can't really say that because they won the series. I get it. But, man, losing 3 OTs at home, there's got to be a little bit of payback involved with that. No question about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there is. We got a few new guys, so they don't really know. But, like I thought we played exceptionally well in the playoffs. And you know what? Bazzi was okay. I mean, that was the difference in the playoffs, in my opinion. Vasilevsky's the best goalie in the world, the NHL, whatever you want to call it. But I thought in the playoffs he just played okay. And you can't have just okay goaltending in the playoffs, not against any team. Every team in the playoffs dangerous.
Yep. No, I got you with that. And you mentioned Johansson and Tompkin. It's hard to tell sometimes if it's the goalie or if it's the guys in front of them, at least for my untrained eye. But I just feel like they're playing pretty well. And defensively, I think, we gave up, 31 shots the other night. We've been outshot 3 games in a row. Are you a little bit concerned about the learning of the new defensive style? Maybe some of the guys that are new, like what are your thoughts on how the defense is playing?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? We played okay. I mean, at best. I mean, giving up a lot of opportunities, lots of shots on goal against these young goalies. So I think at the end of the day, we've got to tighten it up and be better. I mean, we've got a few new guys right now. I mean, even missing a guy like Tyler Mott, who they brought in with speed, I think that really hurts our lineup. I think he was playing exceptionally well in training camp, looked really good. And you know what? He's out of the lineup for an extended period of time now. So I think we got to start playing as a team together. We just can't go out there and run and gun and try and score 4, 5, 6 goals. And hey, let's just hopefully Vasilevsky stops 50 shots. He's not in net anymore.
Right.
So you can't leave the kids out to dry. You got to kind of play a better structured game defensively in our neutral zone, and get some opportunity to score. We'll score, but like I said, we can't be giving that many shots up and expect to win every night.
Brian Bradley joining us here, Lightning Analyst. The other night when they had to move the lines around a little bit, Alex Barboulay moved up and played with Kucherov and Point and looked really, really good. That's kind of where his skill set probably fits best, but can you keep him in the top 6? I mean, with Stamkos out, but when Stamkos come back, how do you think that the line changes work tonight? And And what do you think of ABB and how, what does he got to do to stick up here this time?
Well, you know what? The first thing is we don't know about Stamkos. Like, you know, if Stamkos is in, I mean, the lines all change around, and Stamkos is playing well. I mean,
yeah, he is.
You know, he had 2 goals and an assist, and you know, in the game he got injured and didn't play some of the game after he went out against Detroit. I mean, Barbelay's a great player. I mean, you know, he's super smart. He makes great plays, but the one thing he's always doesn't have, he's not a good skater. And it's tough for him to play at this level, game in, game out, just being an okay skater because he's not a big guy. He's 5'8" or 9 or 10. And, you know, you got to be able to skate and move on the ice. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you look at a guy like Mikey Eastamont, maybe you give him an opportunity. But, you know, Bert Belay's put up numbers wherever he's been. In junior hockey, he was great. In the American hockey, he's blown it up. But he just hasn't did it at this next level. And sometimes it's hard to do.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, my friend, big game tonight. Get back on the winning side. I mean, this is kind of a game when you've come off a tough road trip that you need to get well, right? Vancouver's, like you say, a pretty good team, but not great. I think tonight you really need this one. I know Cooper, he doesn't like to give away points early in the season, and I know you come home like this after a bad road trip. This is a big game. He's got to get the boys up ready and ready to go right from the jump, right?
Yeah, for sure, because, you know, we just don't want to get behind the 8 ball. You can't sit here and say, well, you know, Adazi's going to be back in 8 to 10 weeks, which is probably week 3 or 4 now. I mean, we can't go 2 wins and 12 losses and expect Bazzi to come in and win 14 games in a row. Like, that's what we don't want to do. So these games all count. I know it's early in the season, but at the end of the day, all these games count right now, and we've got to be ready to go right from the whistle. Vancouver's not going to be easy. They played Edmonton, beat them home and away. They went to Philadelphia, lost 2-0 the other night. So, you know, their record's 2-1, but, you know, they're going to be coming. Rick Tocchet's going to have them amped up ready to go tonight. That's the way he is coaching.
Yeah. Anything you've seen around the league that surprises you? What storylines jump out at you this year so far in the league? Anything?
Well, you know, just to see Connor Bedard, the young kid coming from Chicago, I really think the kid's going to be a great player. I mean, you know, I saw him play a couple games so far. He's got 3 points in 4 games with a goal and 2 assists. I think they play tonight in Colorado. They haven't even played a home game yet for all the fans to go see him play live, you know, in the regular season. So, you know, the kid's got the real deal. And, I mean, you know, like I said, he's a smart player. And you know what? It's fun to have another superstar potentially in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. The Golden Knights 4-0. And then the defending champs, the Avalanche 3-0. Out west, 2
you know,
dominant teams.
Seattle hasn't won a game. I don't think Seattle's won a game yet.
It's early.
Yeah,
0-3. San Jose's 0-2. So but early on, you know, even in the East, it's like, you know, Ottawa's 3-1. The Red Wings are 3-1. The Bruins are 2-0. They haven't lost yet. The new look Bruins. So, you know, it's early, but you don't want to get too far behind. That's for damn sure.
Oh no. Yeah, like I said, it's like anything. You can sit here and say, hey, there's games, you know, the games we can get later on. But no, if you get too far behind, you can't get back into it. Mm-hmm. You know, the stats just show the numbers and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right, partner. I will see you tonight at Amalie Arena.
We'll be there. Can't wait. See you, JP. Have a great day.
The great Brian Bradley right there, as always. That dude, I tell you what, man, you cannot be in his presence without being upbeat. He's the happiest dude.
You know, I tell you what,
in your life.
I almost didn't get him off the phone in time to come back on the air out of the break. He's just chit-chatting away, man.
He's the best.
He's
the best.
great.
If you ever get a chance to run into Brian, you know, he'll not only take a picture with you, he'll chat with hockey with you, find out all, like, where you from? Just a great dude. He
was full of questions. He was full of questions during the break. That's for sure.
I love that, dude. All right, let's do a quick break. When we come back, our last quick break, 3 minutes. We'll get into some Rays stuff. We'll preview a little Jags and Saints tonight. That's going to be a good game. Very interesting one for Bucs fans. We're going to play the Jags later on. Of course, we got the Saints again. And some other baseball notes as well, as Tim's Rangers last night took it on the chin, but still lead the series. So we'll do all that when we come back. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Patio. We'll be there tomorrow, 5 to 7 o'clock. $4 White Claw seltzers, $4 White Claw vodka drinks. Go try to find that anywhere else in Tampa Bay. So always a great place to hang out under the trees. Great outdoor place there. They got a big Halloween party coming up, so you want to get involved in that as well. But come see us tomorrow. We'll have giveaways 5 to 7 o'clock. Myself and Peter Blake live at the Patio, or tune in from wherever you are. Back at 3. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Yes, we are back. And I'm off mute. We have got. I have been reading this story from the Times in the break here, and it is, it's very, very concerning. And this is stuff that I've been talking about for a long, long time. Let's see what the numbers are in St. Pete, see if they're palatable, and see where this is going. And as I predicted, a lot of this, was, the cheerleaders were at the press conference and everybody's saying, woo, it's $600 million of public money. I'm like, let's see the numbers. Well, now we've learned that it's more like $1.23 billion in public money, double what they were telling us. And here's the thing. when you're getting into a agreement and spending the most public money, I've said this before, in the history of the city, shouldn't we all wait to see what the real numbers are and how this whole deal is going to shake out before we start declaring that the Rays are staying in St. Petersburg and this is a done deal like everybody in the media has done? Shouldn't we just take especially given the history of this ownership group and the many press conferences that we've had that we finally have a stadium, we're getting this done? Should we not in the media take a step back and say, okay, let's not come out on in the day, oh, the deal is done. The deal is not done. The deal is not done. The Rays have come to an agreement. Yes, a tentative agreement that nobody in the city council or the Pinellas County Commission has signed off on. And those people haven't even seen the numbers. So basically what you said is, let's just give a blank check to Stu Sternberg, who's been such a great public citizen here in St. Petersburg. I mean, come on, people. Can we just be a little bit have a few adults in the room as far as how this stuff works? So thank God for Lisette Hanowitz. And by the way, let me give some credit here to the Tampa Bay Times, who I've beat up during this process many, many a time. And they've written some really good stories lately about what's in this, and they've done their homework in terms of making public records requests because the administration, in terms of the mayor's office and the Rays and Hines Development, are not forthcoming with a lot of documents that they should be. Shocking development. Shocking development. They're trying to hide a lot of what's in this deal. And thank God for the Times and Lisette Hanowitz. Colleen Wright was the one who wrote this. Colleen Wright. Thank God for her and the Times finally digging into some of this stuff, which they should be doing, because as the Fourth Estate, they're the only ones that are really doing any type of investigation into the biggest public deal, or boondoggle, as I'd rather make it known, in the history of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. I like to wonder where the local television stations in this, where's some of the other media representatives. I don't have a room full of newsroom reporters here that I pay to go dig into this stuff. But if I did, it would be the number one story on my list. I can tell you that. But Lisette Hanowitz said, and I quote here from the Times, as a city council member who is one of the elected representatives making the final decision on the largest project in the city's history, I don't see a reason why administration was privy to this information and not city council, talking about the cash flows in the next 20 years. See, a question here is, the Rays and their development partner Hines were required by the city of St. Petersburg to submit a 20-year cash flow analysis as part of their proposal to redevelop the historic gas plant district. But they don't want projections of their sources of money and where it would be spent disclosed to the public. Interesting. According to emails obtained by the Tampa Bay Times as a records request, or even to city council members. Why wouldn't the Rays and Hines and the administration, being the mayor's office, want the projections from the Rays as far as cash flow analysis, but not disclose those to the city council or the Pinellas County Commission? That seems a little odd, doesn't it? Doesn't it? If you're as an elected official, thank God for Lisette Hanowitz, who's the only one asking for this stuff. Maybe she didn't get the memo on the season tickets and the kickbacks, but thank God she did. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So the story continues. City and county officials have negotiated a tentative deal with the Rays and Houston-based development group Hines. The city's work is more complicated as it has to come up with money for a stadium and infrastructure for the surrounding 69 acres without raising taxes. Based on projections from city documents, the combined public subsidy could hit $1.29 billion over time with interest. Quote from the councilwoman: "It is concerning that they have taken this stance and are choosing not to disclose with the elected officials who are the final arbiters of such an agreement," Hanowitz said in her email, adding that she'll continue the conversation when the city council meets to discuss the deal for the first time October 26. City officials have denied repeated requests to answer specific questions about the project's final details until that public discussion. Again, folks, the mayor has gone to extraordinary lengths to cut this deal outside of any public disclosures. Why? Why? If there's more than two people meeting in government, it has to be subject to freedom of information and sunshine laws. So he's had his Rob Gertis, the city administrator, meet one-on-one and update the councilmen and the councilwomen and commission as well. Why? Why keep this in the dark? And now you don't want to disclose any of these agreements, any of these numbers until October 26th, when the councilwoman and other people can't look at it ahead of time and have questions ready to ask. It just seems like this is a freaking boondoggle. You're trying to ram this through without anybody really scrutinizing the numbers. I mean, is that not plain as day here? She's absolutely right. I'm going to try to get her on the show. Why aren't you disclosing these numbers ahead of time? Questions should be asked. Hanowitz's reply to City Administrator Rob Gertis and other city officials wasn't included in a response to the Tampa Bay Times request for public records of city council members' communications with city staff last week. Hanowitz provided that email after an inquiry from a reporter. So the city administrator is not turning this over to the Times. So then the Times has to go to the councilwoman and get it from her. Why are you doing that? What the hell is going on here? Quote, I have spoken to Ray's Hines about the 20-year cash flow projection that was included in the RFP submittal, and they have chosen to keep this document confidential, Gertis wrote to Hanowitz earlier Friday morning in an email that was included in the records provided. I cannot recall any other financial document related to projected income for Ray's Hines on the development that I have reviewed. So, as I told you, folks, this is a boondoggle for Rays and Hines, because look who's behind it. Stu Sternberg, who has not been a good corporate citizen, who has held up this development at Tropicana Field for 5 years. As prices go up, as labor goes up, as supply chain problems go up, it's going to cost you, the taxpayers, 50, 75% more to redevelop it now. And suddenly, Stu Sternberg is the hero at the press conference. Woo, woo, where the Rays are staying. I mean, come on, people. What are you doing? What are you doing?
There's only one reason to hide things, right? And that's because you're doing something wrong.
Yes, Tim.
Only one reason to hide something.
You know, I've been around.
Not because you're a hero.
I've been around.
It's not because you're a hero.
Well, we're going to surprise you guys with all this good news. That's why we want to keep it secret.
Yeah, the cat's coming out of the bag, but it ain't going to be a good one.
Come on. Rays, Stu Sternberg, and Hines Developments. These people that are going to that have won that boondoggled their way into this redevelopment when they wanted no part of it with Mayor Kreisman and some of these other mayors that were holding their feet to the fire. Suddenly, this mayor comes along. He's giving them, a blank check, and now they want to hide all the numbers. Shocking development. Shocking development. And listen, I don't have a dog in this fight. It's not my money. St. Pete, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, my only thought is it's obviously the stupid ass location to put the stadium. It's not going to solve anything. 2/3 of your customers and more coming into the I-4 corridor are going to be shut out of the weekday games. Blah, 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 blah. We've said it a million times. It's a dumbass place to do it. Even the broadcasters that were here for the playoffs looking at all the empty seats were like, why would you build something right next door? It's a terrible location. Duh. This is why. Because it's a freaking boondoggle. It's a boondoggle. You're getting taken by Stu Sternberg, who's walking all the way to the bank. But whatever. Ain't my money. Go ahead. Build a stupid stadium there. Right where it was. Whatever. All right, Jags.
Mess.
It's a disaster.
Is a mess out there.
But all these people are cheerleading it. It's just, Stu's just like laughing his ass off.
Wow.
He don't give a rat's ass. He's out of here. He in fact, he's so pissed off at this market for not kissing his ass forever and giving him a stadium for free that he's like, I'm going to take all this money, leave when the stupid asses are going to give it to me, and I'm going to leave them with a stadium and be laughing in 5 years when they build this stupid thing and it's still empty. That's what he's saying. That's what he's doing. But
do you think he has the power to move the team?
No, he doesn't. It has to be approved by Major League Baseball.
Right.
Two-thirds
and they wouldn't
who hate him for stealing money from them or allegedly, for taking all this revenue sharing money and kicking their ass on the field in the regular season, right? And they understand now what he's been doing. He hasn't been marketing. He's not been spending the money that they spend to make all the revenue that they all pool. 48% of their revenue they pool, and then they hand it out evenly. These other places are like spending money and marketing. He's just taking in money. They figured it out. No, and they don't want to leave this market because it's the 11th largest market. Why would you do that? If you're Major League Baseball, your national TV contracts are based on having these markets. You can't just give one up, and you're going to get $2 billion in expansion fees from these other markets anyway. So you want those in the high, the more competition for that, the higher it goes. They know Major League Baseball's not. They finally figured it out. Stu's been,
and we've seen what happens. We've seen what happens in a pro sports league when owners turn on a singular owner who's cheating them, i.e., Daniel Snyder. He's gone. He won't last very long in the league. They'll figure out some way
now
to do it.
And that particular owner now is involved in a lawsuit that's going to open up the commissioner and the rest of baseball to discovery and depositions.
Just like it did with the Commanders. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They want no part of that. If they have investors willing to buy the team and build a stadium in Tampa, you don't think that's what Major League Baseball wants? All the other owners, especially after what happened in this playoffs, you don't think that's what they want? Of course they do. Of course they do. And now all this, hiding of projections and money and cash flow analysis. And finally somebody responsible to the taxpayers has stood up and said, I just want to see the numbers. God bless you. And we'll try to get her on the show because I admire her courage. And good job by the Times, Colleen Wright, for going out and getting this information. Good job. All right. Great job, Tim. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And thank you guys out there as well. Please tell your friends and your neighbors and anybody you come across, check out the JP Peterson Show. They're the independent voice of the fan, not corporate media. We need your support, by the way. Hit our link tree on any of our socials if you'd like to donate to the cause. We would love you for it. Like Ricky P. Thank you very much, Ricky P. Guys, have a great night. I'll be at Amalie Arena tonight doing my thing, and I will see you tomorrow on this show and at the patio tomorrow, 5 to 7. See you then.